Trump has 34 felonies. Not a single person that bought children on Epstein Island does. They haven't been tried. Okay. Trump has 34 felonies. You've got Rudy Giuliani. You've got, I think it's 184 Republican lawyers have either been disbarred or actively facing charges right now for what they're calling election denying. But these people said that they tried to bring actual real cases up against, especially in Maricopa County, where it looks like a cartel, the Sinaloa cartel, influenced our election. It's an act of war. So you have all of these things happening, right? And you have Alex Jones, $1.5 billion for being wrong and being an asshole, but $1.5 billion. So I mean,
it was a hell of a defamation. Like
hell of a defamation.
That was pretty. It was pretty high. I mean,
$1.5 billion.
Yeah, no, I know.
Meanwhile, Fauci, Rachel Maddow, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, anybody who lied to everybody constantly for years, nothing, right? And not a single person has been fired for the Afghanistan pullout. No, in fact, there was one guy, I think, who was reprimanded, and he was reprimanded for saying what we did is fucked up.
Yeah, they did try. There was a recent, I forget who put it out, but there was a recent article that suggested that they were going to try to hold the company to battalion or brigade level responsible. And I was like, I've been a company commander. I've had 300 people serve under me, and that made me very angry because I've been in situations where someone almost died, and it was because, you know, in this one instance I'm thinking of, something I asked for many times I was not given, even though I made sure I need this, someone's going to get hurt. They didn't get hurt, thank God, but they almost did. And but what would have happened if they had, I would have been the one who was immediately fired.
Wow.
So like that, I 100% agree. Like that the whole thing was ridiculous. From the signing of the Doha agreement, many people who have been to Afghanistan could have told you there ain't no way the ANA is ready. Trump's administration, not his fault, but they were not ready. They were not ready. So that result was inevitable to an extent.
Eric Prince has talked about this extensively on Tucker Carlson. I thought it was very, very interesting. And also the craziness when he talked about how everything in our Defense Department from our contractors is at like 3,000% upcharge.
That's probably 100% accurate.
That's insanity.
To be fair, Blackwater charged that too. So.
All right. Look, I don't know enough. This is why, you know.
Saying. I mean, he's got a reason for saying, but he's not wrong.
No, he's definitely biased.
To that point, all right. To that point,
yeah.
I want anyone who voted or is voting for Joe Biden, I want them to watch Tyler Vargas Andrews' speech. You watch this thing, and I want someone to tell me that there was no accountability to that. And why? Why the fuck is there no accountability to this? Not just this man, but was it 18? Was it? I believe it was 18
that were killed.
That were killed.
I believe 16, 17, something like that. Yeah.
And there was I've heard Tim Kennedy talk about this a lot. There was a lot of actual U.S. citizens left behind as well. And apparently, the one of the major fuck ups was there was a list of citizens and interpreters given, and that then became like a hit list. There was like, hey, you got to give us these guys, and they were like, yeah, no, I mean,
Tyler and his team legitimately pointed out to the guy. They said, here's the bad guy that you should look at, to put it in layman's terms, right? Here's the bad guy. They said, there's the bad guy in the crowd of people. Do something about it. Can we engage? They said, nothing. They got nothing out. Don't engage. And all of a sudden, after warning saying, yo, this is the guy. Hey, by the way, this is still the guy. And what happens?
Yeah.
Blows up everyone. And this guy, and now Tyler Vargas is blown up. And
almost immediately we started taking fire from the neighborhood, and I saw how injured I was with my right arm, completely shredded and unusable.
Oh, God.
I saw my lower abdomen soaked in blood. I crawled backwards roughly 7 feet because I thought I was still in harm's way. My body was overwhelmed from the trauma of the blast. My abdomen had been ripped open. Every inch of my exposed body, except for my face, took ball bearings and shrapnel. I tried to get up, but could not. Laying there for a few minutes, I started to lose consciousness. When I heard Chaz, my team leader, screaming my name as he ran to me. His voice calling to me kept me awake.
He doesn't have a right arm, does he?
When he got to me, he dragged me to safety and immediately started triaging me, tying tourniquets on my limbs and doing anything he could to stop the bleeding and start plugging wounds with the help of the other Marines. I was awake through most of it, screaming, moaning, and cursing. I ask you to please ask me about getting shot at the tower in Abbey Gate and how no one wanted my report post-blast. Even NCIS and the FBI failed to interview me. Ask me to elaborate on my ordeal post-blast, and ask me about this one little girl and her family that I reunited. Our military members and veterans deserve our best because that is what we give to America. The withdrawal was a catastrophe, in my opinion, and there was an inexcusable lack of accountability and negligence. The 11 Marines, 1 sailor, and 1 soldier that were murdered that day have not been answered for. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
All right, Chris.
Play that video at every rally.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Play the video at every rally.
It's very.
And then explain to me why I've not heard the leader, unless I missed it, the leader of our free country speak to that moment. I'm a God-fearing man, and you watch that, if you don't feel something for that, and I'm not some war hero, like I'm just a petty Navy dude, man. Like this guy's done more shit than I have in my entire life, and I'm saying, you watch that, and I'm a tax-paying citizen. You're a tax-paying citizen. You should give a fuck about that, because you watch that and nothing fucking happened about that. Nothing.
Maybe worse.
And we're gonna
that CO probably got promoted.
And we're gonna vote that in for 4 more years, and we're gonna vote the people that allowed that to happen and just push them to the road for more years. I don't know about that.
But see, remember, like again, like I'm gonna be that guy. GWAT there was a rot from the start of GWAT. All three administrations.
What is GWAT?
Global War on Terror.
Okay.
Sorry, but like from the start, you could argue like the Iraq War 2003.
Yeah, but
I won't even go into that one.
I mean, yeah,
but
what
like,
happened with that?
But for like Afghanistan, like 2001, we invaded. We got Bin Laden in 2011, I think. Right? We should have dipped right there. The military is not a nation building. It's not our task. But we were tasked to nation build.
Mhm.
We should have gotten Bin Laden and just dipped. And unfortunately,
Chris, look up how much we're paying the Taliban now. I think it's $100 million a month. We left them our weapons. I think from the day before our withdrawal to the day after, they went from like the 139th biggest military in the world to like the 27th, just in the arms that we left behind.
Is that right?
I believe it is. My numbers could be off. Chris can look that up, but I'm very close. And I think right now, the way that we're pacifying the region is we're paying a ransom, $100 million a month to them. And I sit here and I just say, and you look at all the weapons and the missiles that were given to people across the country, across the world, and then those weapons get used against our guys. And now we all know we've got boots on the ground in Ukraine already. They're acting like we don't, but we all know we do. We all know there's spec ops that are happening. We all know. Come on, like that with that pipeline. You think it was Ukrainians that did that pipeline? Come on, why and why? For what reason? And how come the people that do this are never going to be held accountable? And now we're looking at a situation. They're talking about the draft a lot. Now I've said this before and I say it again. I go back and forth on this because one of my biggest regrets in my life is that I did not serve. And I look at guys that did serve with such utmost honor and respect. But I look at something like that and I say, I will never give my arm and my leg for Halliburton. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving my life for Vanguard or State Street or BlackRock. And I'll give my life for my country. I'll give my life for my family. But that's not what I'm not over there like Pat Tillman. Pat Tillman goes over there. He has such passion for this country and its people that he gives up an NFL career to go over to Afghanistan, and then he's guarding poppy fields for Pfizer. He's like, what the fuck am I doing here? What am I doing here? And I look at the soldiers and I can't thank you guys enough for willing to be the guys, willing to stand on that wall for people like me, for me to talk shit. But then I look at our government and I say, man, they don't deserve guys like you, and they don't deserve what you're willing to sacrifice. It's just not all right. And it can't be allowed to continue. It just can't be. It's corrupt to its very core.
Can I tell you what motivates me still? Like, regardless of our government, which admittedly makes so many mistakes, so it does the worst things that we can possibly imagine. There are still legitimate enemies that will kill us in a heartbeat. They want us gone, and like it or not, American hegemony is good.
Yeah,
for
for Americans, yeah,
for Americans mostly, but like unipolarity was good for the world. You mentioned the 50 years of peace. That wasn't a fluke. It was a very odd period of history where the U.S. stood head and shoulders above everyone else. But now we're moving back to this world where multipolarity is coming back, not in the way that like Putin thinks it is. It's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be Russia and the U.S. and China. No, it's mostly going to be the U.S. and the West versus China, because Russia's essentially a vassal to China now at this point. It's crazy, but like that's what motivates me. Like regardless of all these government fuck ups, there's still people like if China invades Taiwan, is that BlackRock? Like who? You know what I mean? Like, are we fighting? You know what I mean? That's what I'm asking though. Like,
well, look, we should. But this is why I feel so like my vengeance before. The same reason why you said that there's, and we do have to wrap this up soon. Although this is a whole nother hour I'd love to have with you guys. Come back tomorrow. We'll do it again.
Yeah. Right.
The vengeance that I feel. There's no accountability. Nothing changes. Okay. Like I want accountability for what happened during COVID. Otherwise, nothing will stop it from happening again. I want accountability for what happened in Afghanistan, or else what stops it from happening again? And the war on terror. Why has not a single person asked how these Afghans that make $500 a month got access to $80,000 missile surface-to-air missiles, that got access to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of ordnance? Like, why does nobody ask any questions about how terrorism was the biggest threat to the world for 15 years, and then COVID happened, and not a single suicide bomber decided to blow up a Costco in America?
Your answer was 2.9 billion, by the way.
2.9 billion for what?
United Nations has delivered more than 2.9 billion in cash to Afghanistan since the Taliban seized control.
2.9 billion
Yeah.
in ransom. But be nice, be good now.